them back to life.
You know, people sit out on the front porch hoping people will come by.
Go forth and do good. It's insane. I have the most understanding wife in the world.
I treat everybody the same thing.
Oh, that's the other thing I love about Marietta. It's like a melting pot.
You are listening to Marietta Stories. Each week, veteran podcaster Bill Nowicki brings you the heartwarming, interesting, and fun stories from the people that make the community of Marietta, Georgia, a place to call home. Here's your host, Bill Nowicki.
Hey, this is Bill Nowicki. Welcome to Marietta Stories Podcast. I was contacted by Jen Hobby and her husband, Grant Rivera, and Dr. Grant Rivera, and I was asked if I wanted to get involved in the Reese Magic Fund fundraiser at Glover Park Brewery. I immediately said yes, and we talked about it. I interviewed a bunch of people at the event, including Reese's doctor, the owner of the brewery, one of the owners, Hank Dupree, and some other folks, a survivor of cancer and a mom that just lost her daughter. I also interviewed Grant and Jen, but I never pressed record or hit record again, so I apologize for it, but this is still a great episode, so pay attention if you want to give more money to Children's Healthcare, Aflac, Cancer Service. Please select the link in the show notes. Thanks. I have Dr. Olson here from Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. How are you?
Pretty good.
Is that the right?
Aflac Cancer and Blood Disorder Service, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta.
Okay. Great. And what are we doing here at Glover Park Brewery?
Well, I think this a fundraiser by the Rivera family for their daughter, Reese. She was a patient of ours, and the family has been very good at raising funds for this Aflac Cancer Center, especially for initiatives in solid tumors in children, and some of the consortiums work with around the world.
So your expertise is solid tumors, correct?
My expertise now is solid tumors. Over the years, we did a lot of different things, but the Aflac Cancer Center grew from about 12 physicians to about 55 pediatric oncologists, and now we can really specialize, and we can interact with other people around the country in a very effective way.
Yeah, why don't you tell me about what it's like to deal with families? I suspect you see them at their lowest and their highest.
Part of why people go into pediatric oncology is they like working with children and families. No one can go through unscathed, be able to want to take care of difficult families, easy families, but everybody is suffering a little, and you have to learn to see what the family needs and be able to give them that. You know?
Yeah. But is it not like a journey, though? You're taking people on a journey when they're first diagnosed, and to see them go through that?
Definitely a journey, a long journey for them. It's, as a parent, you don't want to see your child sick, and now it's changing your life and your other children's lives, everything.
It impacts everything in the family dynamic, and you're right in the middle of it.
I can't even take antibiotics correctly, and and I'm telling people you have to do all this stuff to get through. It's a challenge for us sometimes.
Yeah. So tell me about the kind of research you're doing right now and what you're excited about. You're probably around retirement age, but you're still doing this. Why is that?
I've done a lot of basic research, but my focus probably in the last 20 years has been trying to take care of a rare tumor, which is called germ cell tumor, which crosses from childhood, adolescent to even young adults, and trying to get, and because it's a rare tumor, you need people from around the world. How to get people from around the world together. How to get people who take care of adults and children to talk to each other and learn from each other to help both groups. From 1996, trying to get other countries involved where they have their own national interests. You think just politics is national interest, well, doctors have national interest. But now we've formed an organization for germ cells that includes gynecologists, medical oncologists, surgeons, pediatric oncologists, and in 6 continents, to do studies together, to put together old data to help learn. So that's one of the things they're very interested in here.
Wow. So tell me about some of the countries that are involved in the type of work.
Right now with us, the countries are United States, Canada, Brazil, Japan, Australia, England, France, Italy, India, Poland. So quite a few countries. It takes time to get everybody in.
So tell me about the feeling you get when someone, a child, rings a bell.
It's nice to get to that end. I mean, again, it reflects a lot of work on the family's part. We do some work, but that's for the family. It's really been a lot of work.
What do you learn when you deal with children versus like an adult? Are they more resilient? How do they handle this type of problem?
Children are much more resilient. If you cure a child, that's a lot of years left in life. And I take care of young adults up to like 23 too. It's a different animal. And adolescents are different than children. So we take care of all of those people. I first wanted to go into internal medicine, but when I saw how kids did things, especially in oncology, that's it. I'm doing this. Yeah.
So tell me the importance of money. We're here as a fundraiser. What does it allow you to do?
When you try to advance oncology, we have grants, we have money we get from insurance, but to really, the top places in the world also need donated money to do the advancement, to do the collaboration. For our national society that they contribute to, MAGIC it's called. Without that funding, we couldn't get these people from other countries together. And most of the investigators contribute their own money to get to places. But you need administrative support and you need money to get the things put into a computer. And without that, the better care doesn't happen. You just need St. Jude's raise money, everybody. Without that money, advances don't happen as easily.
And what about outcomes? How have you improved things since your start in this field?
I'll give you an example of germ cell. When we first started, we had a study we opened in 1990, and we said we want to improve survival to about 60-70%. We designed the trial. What happened was we got up to 80-90 in the first 2 years, and we had to change the trial. The germ cell tumors come a long way, and in most childhood cancers, the same thing. Some people say, why put anything into it, germ cell lymphoma? You got to cure everybody. Well, we don't cure everybody. We're not 100%. 90 is not good enough. And a lot of childhood cancer has really improved in that way.
What do you see in the horizon, next 5 years? Are you using CRISPR or anything?
Okay. I think the big horizon is, chemotherapy, is poison. But we do have more of cellular immunity where people are doing first for leukemia, taking some of your own cells, directing, it's called CAR T, directing them against leukemia. We're starting to do that against tumors too. It's a little more technical, challenging, but I see more immunology, having your own cells help fight the cancer.
Well, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate it.
Okay, is that helpful?
Very helpful.
Okay.
We've got Hank. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Hank Dupree, one of the owners here at Glover Park Brewery. What are we doing here tonight?
Oh, we're so excited to be, for the second time, we had to miss last year because of COVID, but raising money for the Ring the Bell benefit to benefit CHOA in the name of Reese's Magic Fund for Grant and Jen, our good friends and great patrons of the brewery.
And why do you think this is important for Marietta?
I mean, I think the community of Marietta is all about community. I think they're all about lifting each other up and helping each other out. And that's essentially the reason why we're here as a brewery, and the spot that we're in we're about community. So this is a great match for us, and we're thrilled to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's great. Beautiful day, man. I didn't think it was going to work out.
It was looking iffy.
It was iffy.
Yeah.
It's cleared out, little breeze, but all the windows are open. Everybody's having a great time. Yeah. And I bet you it's going to be even better next year.
I hope that it will. We'll keep trying to outdo ourselves every year. That's our goal.
Great. And how's things at the brewery after COVID? Are you guys still around? How's it going?
Of course, like everyone else in this industry, we suffered for a while there, and we shut down for a bit. We came limping back in last summer. We've been picking up ever since, and I'd say that we're back at full tilt for the most part. I'm thrilled to see people coming back out again and enjoying themselves safely. It's been good for the last few months for sure.
And Glover Park's one of those places you can bring your dogs, your kids, hang out outside, watch a ball game. It's just a great hangout spot.
I'd like to think so. That's what we tried to create, so I'm glad that it's thought of that way.
Well, thanks again for all your help, Hank. It was great seeing you, and great catching up.
Same here. Thanks, Bill.
Right. Get back to... Did you want something?
I'm curious about dinner.
while they're setting up upstairs.
Oh, they are? Good stuff.
Yeah, that I know. And what are you doing here at Glover Park Brewery?
I am here to play some music and hopefully bring some smiles to some faces.
Do you have a podcast? You have a velvety voice.
My dad did radio when he was younger,
really?
so I grew up hearing my dad's voice, and I've noticed that I get a cadence similar to his whenever there's a microphone in front of me.
I did notice that. No, you were on The Voice, correct? Yeah. So what was that experience? And you're from Marietta.
Yeah, born and raised. I went to Lassiter High School just down the road. But yeah, to answer your question, I went into The Voice with kind of low expectations. I thought
That's always a good thing. I do that with relationships, but let's not talk about me.
Oh, wise move. I thought, it's going to be some TV show that's scripted more or less, and it's going to be stressful, and maybe I'll get some cool publicity out of it, but that's it. And I went into it with the perfect mindset to enjoy myself. I mean, I fell in love with so many friends out there. I've been best man in a wedding to one of the people I met out there. Yeah, and one of my groomsmen will be there, my groomswoman. So she is one of the other contestants that I met out there. But
yeah, sound like a great experience for you, and first time in LA and all that.
Yeah, it was my first time spending any real time out there. Not that I got to do anything. We were sequestered in a hotel for 4 months.
4 months.
4 months.
Did they pay you? If you don't mind my asking.
You could say that they paid us. I think legally it counted as pay. I definitely got taxed. I got a W-2 for it, but it was a big pay cut to go out and do it.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, everybody out there, they had to be out there because they wanted it.
And then you came back to COVID, or what?
Yeah, that's basically it. We booked 2 tours and had something around 60 shows for last year planned. It was going to be fantastic, all around successful year planned. And then, of course, everything dropped off, and I got into woodworking and hunkered down in my house. And
Really?
Yeah, big turn for the year.
Yeah. So tell me about your career now. What are you up to in Alex Guthrie'ville? What are you doing now, and what do you want to do? And
my shows, especially as of October, are really coming back. So I'm thrilled to have those. On a different side, COVID kind of freaked me out musically.
It's like comics. I mean, when you're not in front of an audience, it's like terribly hard on your psyche.
Yeah, and I'm used to practicing a lot of hours a week because I've got shows. It's not practice that I'm scheduling into my day. That's my practice. Shows are practice. So now, and this is, I've talked to my friends across the board, it seems, musicians are out of practice these days. Like, I get up to sing, and there are high notes that I used to hit with ease, and I'm like, let's try that again. So that's been an interesting thing to adjust to. But in terms of my career, I've got a little bit of touring, like I said, going on. But COVID scared me. For the first time in my adult life, I hadn't been able to count on music as a reliable source of income. I'm one of the fortunate musicians who's been able to call it a reliable source of income. I'm not going anywhere, but I am pivoting. Music's going to take a side seat for a little bit. I'm going to continue recording, continue releasing music, but touring will kind of cease for a bit. Right now I'm studying to be a pilot.
Really? Commercial pilot or just?
Pilot, yeah. So I'm a few weeks away from getting my private pilot's license.
So let's practice. What would you say if you were a captain of a 757, like when I say?
Yeah, I can't help you there. I can tell you what we can do with a Cessna.
What would you say?
There's a whole
spiel. There's a whole
spiel to do. But the funny thing is, I don't get really stage fright ever. If you put me in front of a huge crowd at a stadium, I don't care singing the national anthem at the Braves Stadium.
Yeah, I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah. Doesn't bother me. I got into the plane, and they're like, all right, Alex, you've studied, you know what to say. Go forth and talk on the radios. And I sat there and went, I'm terrified. I can't say a word. Like, asking me about the podcast voice, I can tell that there's a cadence that I fall into. The second I hit the button, I'm like, Skyhawk 66 Delta. And it just goes into like pilot mode.
Yeah, there you go. Well, it sounds like you're adding to that repertoire you have. So why are you here tonight?
I am here to support my friend Jen Hobby, of course, reached out to me. There are lots of shows I could do that make an impact to me. There come a few times, and Jen's a part of a lot of them, when other people reach out and they want to use your platform or use your voice to support something bigger than yourself. I'm fortunate to have Jen and have her experience with her child, to have this opportunity to come and support something that's bigger than myself.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to offer. I love Colorado. I just listened to that.
Oh yeah, thank
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Did you write that?
I did, yeah.
I got sepia tones running through my bones, and an old-timey tune played through analog phones. And here's where the 11 only 20 to show. Some may say that I'm an old soul. I had a pain in my heart and no smile on my face, so I let it all go. Life's too precious to waste. Oh, and I did what I could, yeah, I gave it my best. Nothing here for me, oh, I'm headed out west.
I wrote that one when I was 19 years old.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever go to Colorado?
I've got family in Colorado, so I go out there. I try to do it once a year, but I don't know what my first song will be.
Friends in Low Places probably would be appropriate. But I saw your Wendy's thing too.
Yeah, you did the Friends in Mass Faces. That was a fun one. Yeah, I haven't figured out what my first song will be. I'll probably say Colorado later on.
That's a good one. No, but I really appreciate your time, and there is food upstairs, so there's hope for you, and it was a pleasure meeting you, and best of luck in the future, piloting and singing and whatever else you want to do.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak.
Not a care,
right.
Someone sees it, not a care who it's for. Oh, my window rolled down, one wind rushing by.
I don't know a whole bunch about buying and selling a home and getting financing, but Jason Waters and his team over at Affinity Home Lending sure does. They won Best of Cobb 3 years in a row, have closed 933 loans in 2020, and they're on track to close a whole bunch more in 2021. Check him out. He's legitimate. He comes from Cobb County, went to the University of Georgia, majored in finance. He's a certified financial planner, and he brings a wealth of experience to you, and he cares about the community. He's even on the Marietta School Board. Check him out. The Waters team at affinityhomelending.com is their email. You can give them a call, 404-403-8787, or find them on their website, affinityhomelending.com. If you've ever been charged with a crime, well, you know you're in a crisis situation. And if I were you, I'd contact Kim Fry and the rest of the folks at the Fry Law Group, 170 Anderson Street here in Marietta, Georgia. They will take good care of you. And like me, she listens to your story. She understands your story and asks good questions so she can give you the best result possible. Our law system in this country is adversarial, so you need someone on your side that fights for you. And Kim has many, many positive 5-star ratings on Google, 69 to be exact. Contact Kim Fry and the Fry Law Group, 170 Anderson Street, Marietta, 770-919-9525, or you can go to their website, frylawgroup.com. That's F-R-Y-E lawgroup.com. Alex Faas.
Yes, hello.
Bill Nowicki, I met you on the phone.
We did.
And this is really here. It really is happening.
It's happening. It's here. It's beautiful outside.
I know. Wow.
We couldn't have asked for a better day, and we're just so glad to finally be here together in person.
Right. Got a clipboard. You look so official.
I'm trying to look like the man in charge here.
Tell me about your journey. How did you end up doing this kind of work?
Yeah, so in college, I was really involved in an organization called UJ Miracle, and they did a big dance marathon every year that benefited the hospital. And when I graduated from college, I thought, wouldn't that be really fun if that could be your job all the time? And so started out as an intern at the foundation at Children's, and I've been there for almost 6 years now, and have done different events, fundraising, worked for the Aflac Cancer and Blood Disorders Center, and just really enjoyed knowing that I get to go to work every day and make a difference.
Where would the money for Reese's Fund go to support?
Any donations that are made to the Reese's Magic Fund and the Ring the Bell benefit tonight go to support solid tumor research. We've really found that research is our best shot at a cure, at curing childhood cancer, and only 4% of national funding goes to childhood cancer. So we want to make sure that we as a community are coming together, because our best bet is to give the money to Dr. Olson, who cared for Reese, and give it to our solid tumor program and make sure it's going right to the hospital.
Well, great. It's such a fun event for me to be part of, so I appreciate the invite.
We're glad you're here. We're glad you're here.
All right, let's find somebody else to talk to. So you're Miss Sandoval?
Yes.
All right. Bill Nowicki, Marietta Stories. Now tell me about your journey, because there's a brand new award coming up tonight, I heard.
Yes, it's in my daughter's name. My daughter, her name was Monica, and she was a 4-time cancer survivor. Just absolutely an amazing girl. She had her hand in everything that was childhood cancer related. You know, if there was a new kid on the floor that was being diagnosed, she was the welcoming committee. If there was an event somewhere around town, she dragged me along. We had to go. She just had her hands in everything.
When was she first diagnosed? How old?
She was diagnosed when she was 14, first time, 9th grade. Came back when she was 16, came back again when she was 20, and then came back again when she was 22.
So what is this? I can't imagine what you've gone through as a mom, but what did you do to hold on through all those ups and downs? And
you gotta have faith. And you got to have friends
yeah.
and family. I mean, honestly, those are the 3 most important, in the childhood cancer world. The families at the hospital, they become your family.
Yeah. They get it, right? They know exactly what you're dealing with.
They walk the walk. You can say big words and they get it, My Monica became an angel 2.5 months ago. We're learning to navigate new waters, but thankfully, there are other angel parents that we've been with on their journey, and they've been the ones reaching out to me to give me support, because how do you prepare for something like this? You can't. But with those that have been there, done that, they give you support so that way you can pass it on to the next family.
Did your daughter help you at all when she probably knew that she didn't have much longer? How did she help you out?
She was really sick at the very end. We just basically, she was kind of in and out of it. Yeah. And we just said, you know what, go for it, baby. Go for the clouds. Go to the light. And she went to sleep and woke up in heaven. You can't prepare. The thing is with childhood cancer, when you're diagnosed, you can't think that, unfortunately, everything's going to be better. Because like for us, she didn't have cancer when she passed away. It was all the treatment that she had that had just taken a physical toll on her body. Her body was tired. She developed complications from how harsh the, radiation and the chemo, and she had 3 transplants and then CAR T. She had a lot of stuff over the last 12 years. She just got tired. That's why like events like Reese's Magic Fund and Aflac, they raise money so that we can get better treatment for these kids, so that way the treatment not only cures them for now, but forever. That is a goal.
Well, tell me about what the families are like. How important is that?
You walk into the family room and there's somebody crying, and you don't have to ask them what's wrong. You just go over and give them a hug. We make eye contact when we're walking our kids down the hall, and we just, we make that eye contact, and we know, what kind of day you're having. We laugh, we cry, we all eat together. I mean, it's just, we're family. You have to be. You can't go through something like this by yourself.
Yeah. What's interesting about what you're describing, it's like all the BS and all the stuff we have and talk about and, the things we focus on in life, obviously that gets stripped away for you.
Absolutely. Before Monica got sick, it was, the big things, they're big things. And then they just like totally switched. It was like, the big things became little things. And then we only focused on the stuff that really mattered. It was kind of nice that we could just put, like you said, the BS, just put it aside. It's not even worth it. I've got 2 other kids, and my sons will be like, Mommy, can we do this? I'm like, I don't care. It's not a big deal. It's just not a big deal for a lot of things anymore.
Yeah. And what's the grieving process been like for you and your family? Because I remember back, I'm 60 years old, so when I was a kid, no one talked about it. Don't bring it up. What is it like now?
I joined a grief group, so I've gone for 2 weeks now, and I cry most of the time while I'm there. I'm a teacher, so when I went back to class, so Monica came to my school with me, so the kids knew her. First day of school, I think I cried all day long, just telling, because they were like, "Where's Monica?" And I'm like, tears escape from my eyes a lot. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm crying. I saw a little pamphlet that said, tears are just memories that fall from your eyes. I have a lot of memories.
What about your family? How are they dealing with it? Did they vocalize yet, or is it?
Dad's working all the time. That's how he's coping with it. Middle brother, he works all the time. He works full time and he's a college student. Baby brother, he just moved into the dorms, so he's been gone. So all of a sudden my house went from having kids in it to me and Dad, and grocery shopping is a challenge. I accidentally bought a 5-pound bag of tangerines last week because Monica loved tangerines, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good deal at Sam's." Okay, I was stuck with 5 pounds, and I was like, okay, so I ended up taking them and sharing them with the teachers at school, and I'm like, I have to learn how to buy fruit for one, because I'm the only fruit eater now in the house. I stumble a lot, I pray a lot, and I cry a lot, and I talk in my sleep a lot. The big thing that I learned is that, you're not moving on, you're moving forward, one day at a time. And yes, I do the cha-cha, because I have my good days and bad days, but, I'm feeling good today. So far, so good. It's been a good day.
What does it feel like to know that your daughter's name's going to be remembered with the award?
I am absolutely touched. We did so much stuff. Just knowing that her name is still going to be out there and she won't be forgotten. Oh my gosh. You know what? It's probably the most precious thing that can possibly happen, because her story will never die. It's going to still be out there, and each year when there's a new kid who's gotten the award, I can tell them a little bit more about my Monica. And, Kyle tonight, we know Kyle. Kyle is a good kid, and Monica just adored him. And he was, we were there when he got diagnosed, so we saw his journey, knowing that he's getting the torch now, really what it is. So now he's got to take her legacy and create his own.
Our legacies, and here your daughter, so young, passed away and is able to have a legacy that folks are going to enjoy and get, that feeling that you have about her.
I'm so proud. I've always been proud of her. She's still with us. We just can't see her. That's all. She's right here. She's probably laughing at me. I've probably said something stupid and she's laughing.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, and thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you. It's nice to meet you.
All right. And what's your last name, Kyle?
I am Kyle Clerk.
Kyle Clerk, a cancer survivor here at the benefit. What do you think about tonight?
Personally, I am excited. I have been friends with Reese since we were in the hospital back in 2016. And she's kind of become like a little sister to me, so I'm really happy to be here, even though it's like an hour and a half from home. It's worth the drive. Yeah. We live out by Lake Lucerne.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So tell me about your cancer journey. I heard you have pig parts in you. Is it a pig bone or something?
No, it is
I was told the wrong thing.
You were. It is a cadaver bone.
Oh, cadaver bone. That makes more sense.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't quite fuse as well. Yeah,
I threw you off, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I went through cancer treatment for about a year, from around 2016 to 2017. I actually went through the chemo, and then I had a surgery where they took out a piece of my bone and put it in the cadaver bone with some titanium to reinforce it. Then I was on chemo for a little bit longer to make sure it was all good. Then I managed to break it a little bit less than a year later on a caving trip with Boy Scouts, so they had to go in and repair it. But ever since then, I have been out of the hospital surgery-wise, just going in for checkups.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What was the journey like for you?
Generally, at first it was hard. There was a little bit of...
How old were you when you first diagnosed?
I was 9, about to turn 10 when it first started.
And how old are you now?
I am now just recently turned 15 in July. Yeah.
So what was it like when you first had to go through the chemo and all that?
The first couple times it was a little bit rough because they got the medicine wrong that they use for nausea. I was hallucinating. I swear, there's one time we were watching Ant-Man on the TV and I'm like, Mom, I see 2 TVs. I know there are not 2 TVs. So after like the second or third round, we figured out that stuff and that stopped happening. And I figured if I just kept eating stuff, eventually something would stay down. So, yeah.
When did you first start turning the corner and feeling better? How long did it take?
Stuff started to get a lot easier around Christmas time-ish. Because it was Christmas time, so I was already in like a better mood. But it was really bad at Thanksgiving, so then I kind of like bounced back during Christmas time. And that was a couple months before I think that was like a couple months to a couple weeks before the surgery-ish, something around that time. Then after the surgery, I was on treatment for like a month or two before I was declared NED. Yeah. So
what's NED?
NED means no evidence of disease.
So you would live a normal, healthy life?
I'm in marching band, I do acting, I do concert band at school.
Swimming?
Swim team in the summer. Yeah.
Tell me about Reese and the other folks that you met, the kids you met and their parents. What was that like for you?
It was really cool to see lots of people going through some of the stuff I've gone through. Though I have lost some friends to it. I lost one named Sebastian, Grace Bunky, and most recently I lost Monica. But I still have a good number. I have Reese, I have Ethan, have a couple of friends still that are here with me through this.
So what are you expecting tonight besides some food?
I am expecting a very fun party considering that we are at a brewery.
Yeah, don't try to sneak any beer, brother.
I don't like beer. I prefer wine.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we'll talk about that later. But it was a pleasure meeting you, Kyle. Congratulations.
Nice to meet you.
I'm so glad you made it through the cancer battle.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Thanks for listening to Marietta Stories podcast. Tell a couple friends about the show, and please support Reese's Magic Fund and the rest of the folks that make Marietta Stories possible through their generous sponsorship. This is Bill Nowicki saying thank you for listening and enjoy your week.